All right, so we're all about politics and hot topics. And one of those topics involves honoring and assisting the members of our military. We're looking at how to put the entire family back together when a warrior comes home. That's next. We're back in a moment on This Week in Jacksonville.
You're watching This Week in Jacksonville with Kent Justice.
Naval Air Station Jacksonville, the third largest naval installation in the United States. Mayport has thousands of active duty and civilian personnel. Florida's National Guard has a home in our area, along with the Marines at Blunt Island, the submarines base at Kings Bay nearby. So we've got a substantial, significant population of military members and their families. Joining us this morning, Lee Escobar, a chaplain and a captain in the United States Army Reserves. And I understand your focus is really helping transition military members back into civilian life. Why is that such a struggle sometimes for folks, whether they're retiring or coming off deployment or that sort of thing?
Well, what I really tell people is this, is that they go from a hero to zero complex, meaning that here they are manning millions of dollars of equipment, taking care of other people's lives, and then they come back to the civilian world, just have to find a job, you know, whether it's working at a gym, whether it's McDonald's, or something that does not make them be
that
who they were doing.
ego a little bit there too, right?
Takes down their self-esteem, their self-worth, and their self-confidence. So I just really believe it's time to uplift that and make that, to rebuild their self-esteem, their self-confidence, and their self-worth.
I've got a friend who had served in the Army as a medic, came back to the States. That medical experience didn't translate to a job in the medical field. I've got to imagine that those kind of examples are rampant, that a lot of times that's what a warrior coming back to civilian life encounters. Is that right?
That's correct. And I firmly believe that what we need to do is, instead of just teaching them a formal education on how to get another job, to work for someone else, let's teach our military, let's teach them how to open up their own businesses, teach them to become entrepreneurs, and teach them to have control of their own life as opposed to having someone else control their life. I really believe that our military has certain traits and certain abilities that encourage them to become successful business owners, to become millionaires, people who are financially free, and more so take care of their financial commitments and independence.
So let's explore that for a second. When you're in the military, you're not in charge of your own stuff, right? You're taking orders. You're doing what's expected. So what kind of training would have to happen in order to get somebody's mindset to change? Oops, it's all on me, and I'm going to do this on my own.
Well, one thing I outlined in my book, Rich Soldier and Mission Financial Freedom, is there's three key components we need to end up changing ourselves. Number one is we have to evolve. We have to realize that the new rules of money, that the rules of money have changed, and the rules are new. The same way we need to have money for retirement has changed. On top of that, the job force has changed, so we have to evolve and become aware. Then we educate ourselves. And I don't mean having a traditional education. I mean more so having a non-traditional education, not an academic education, but a financial education. You know, start reading books, start learning about entrepreneurship, start learning about financial independence, about how money truly works. So you're no longer dealing with having to have a job, but you have another option. I really feel we don't give our soldiers enough options. So then after that, they have to execute, evolve, educate, execute.
Yeah. Let me ask about this. One of the things I saw in your book was spouses can help this happen. How do spouses play that role, whether it's a husband or a wife, helping our members of the military in that transition to civilian life?
Well, what's going to have to happen is the spouses are, number one, have to sit down with their military member and start creating goals with each other, and do this prior to actually leaving the service. You know, my philosophy is get it together before you need it together, get it together, so that way when you needed it, it's already together. So what they do is start creating those goals and then work together as a family in order to learn to work together to achieve the goals, and then start educating yourselves through financial education and learn how to actually implement those goals, evolve and educate.
And you do some financial seminars and some public speaking about this just to members of the military who are retiring or getting out of the service. Is that right?
Absolutely, yes. I have a nonprofit organization in Chattanooga, Tennessee, where I live, and the purpose right now is to start taking the message to elevate the financial well-being of our military members, to actually bring them to another place and give them more options. Yeah. So they don't feel trapped.
Yeah, Lee Escobar, I appreciate it. When I heard that you were available and we could talk at this level about ways to help our military members, I jumped at it. I said that's important, certainly to our community. Important what you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. As we move on, soldiers of a different sort standing by to join us.